what am I going to do with the rest of my life? I want to be able to set a mile marker out there that feels so far away that it's going to force me to make hard decisions about how to scale, how to learn, how to share, how to create content, and what opportunities fit within that mission. So the next logical number from a million is a billion.
I guess it sort of leads into another question, which is I know that you've mentioned that you don't drink alcohol. How
Hmm.
much of an impact do you think that that has on your ability to function at the level that you do, and also even perhaps speed up that process of working those muscle memory or mental pathways into interaction?
Yeah. If you asked me, like we were hanging out and you're like, hey, what do you do? Who are you? I would tell you I'm a pretty boring, straight edge kind of person because I don't drink. I never have. I don't smoke, never have. I don't do any drugs. I don't swear. And those are just personal decisions. I know I'm wearing this God is designer hat, but it's got nothing to do with faith. It's really about like trying to keep this engine, this structure, this frame as intact as possible because I know we're kind of literally breaking apart and decaying as we age. So I want to try to keep this in an optimal shape, keep my mental acuity, my neuroplasticity as malleable as possible, so I can learn new things. And I find that as I eat better, whole foods, and I don't eat processed things. I try to limit my intake of sugar, and I don't drink coffee either. And then I try to do some form of exercise on a semi-consistent basis, harder these days than before. Then this engine, like if you take care of your body will take care of you. It's going to be able to
Mm.
go. And I feel like the work ahead, and you've mentioned this a couple of times, that we have this mission of teaching a billion people. That's going to take me maybe 2 lifetimes to get there. So this is a long, long marathon. It's not a sprint. So the race, I know I have to be there in the long haul. And you know this. What we're doing is a young person's game. So how are old fogies like you and I going to be able to compete with these young, vivacious, charismatic, high energy people? We got to take care of this. I remember somebody saying this. I forget who said it, but it's like uh, beauty is wasted on young people, because they don't know what to do with it. So it's like I
Yeah.
wish we had that kind of energy and that form as we're older and more mature. We know what to do with it. We should age in reverse, like mentally, as we're like an infant. We should be like shriveled up and old, and as we get wiser and more experience under our belt, we should be younger. But it's like the Benjamin Button thing. It's not true,
Yeah.
but we got to maintain this machine.
Yeah, 100%. I know I'm really terrible at going through these peaks and troughs, so I'll get intensely focused on something, and I would argue that when I'm in that zone, that I'm as good, if not better, than a large portion of people. But unfortunately, I kind
Yeah.
of have this tendency to then also go down the other way, and then when I'm not exercising, then that's the time when I should probably be eating the healthiest, but I tend to eat even worse at that stage. So I'm kind of, as I'm on this journey now, on my own quest to a billion, and I'm keen to talk about that because, I mean, as you know from our prior conversations, we have this overlap with that as a number. I'm
Hmm.
intrigued to talk about, why yours is there. But part of my journey as I'm trying to do what I'm doing with Flicks for Good and trying to get awareness and then finally raise the money we need to launch the service, um, is to do what you're saying, is to work on the engine, get all those things in line because I need to function at my absolute peak capacity, both so that I can, I guess, put as much into it as I possibly can, but also I have a desire to hire people who are smarter than me. I believe in that philosophy of like, I'm comfortable to be the dumbest person in the room. And having had the advantage of, I guess, spending many years working in recruitment and HR, I know a lot of people. I know how to find people. I'm good at connecting people. So that's, I guess, a big part of my overall strategy or how I think I can achieve what I'm trying to achieve with Flicks for Good, which I won't go into now. I want to talk about it maybe a little bit later. But let's talk about this billion. So why 1 billion people? Why is there a specific reason, or did you just like it's just a big chunky number?
Well, a million seems like not that far out of reach. I don't want to have a goal that's like, this is my life goal. And then a year from now, you hit it. And it's like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? I want to be able to set a mile marker out there that feels so far away that it's going to force me to make hard decisions about how to scale, how to learn, how to share, how to create content, and what opportunities fit within that mission. So the next logical number from a million is a billion. And I think there are 8 billion or close to 8 billion people on Earth. So that's 1 in 8 people that somehow we're going to have to reach and touch. Now, people are going to say that's some grandiose, self-delusional kind of idea that you have there. But you know what? Sometimes those goals, they force you to make some really tough decisions. And Jim Rohn said this, it's important to, I think he said this, it's important, or it's Jack Canfield, said it's important to have like really big goals. And it's not that important that you achieve them, but the person that you become in the pursuit of that goal. So if I say I want
Mm,
to make a million, impact a million lives on Earth, maybe when we hit a million subs, I can say, well, there's a number for you, even though more than a million people have watched our videos, and then that's kind of it. So I can go into cruise control now, and I don't have to keep challenging myself. But you know this, to hit 1 in 8 people on Earth, you're gonna have to do something special. You're gonna have to really step it up. So that keeps us on our toes. And
yeah,
whether we get there or not, it's not that important to me. It's the pursuit.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I think well, people are always going to be critical from many different sides, and I'm also comfortable to have people laugh at me, and maybe it's happening, maybe it's not, but I have a pretty healthy intuition throughout the course of my life, and I've had other circumstances where I've said I'm going to do something, and people have just laughed in my face and said that's ridiculous. Like, how could you do that? Why would you do that? And I have that feeling now, and I will admit that I do struggle with it sometimes because I feel like sometimes like when I'm really feels like I'm just trudging along and maybe only making small pieces of progress, I have a bit more awareness and yeah, I guess maybe just nobody wants to get laughed at, but at the same time I thought, well, I've come up with this idea. I've spoken to a variety of different people, and I know that if I achieve it, or like you're saying, even if I get marginally close to it, I'm going to have made a massive impact. So why not shoot for a billion? Part of my rationale was Facebook. When they first kind of came on the scene, I remember something going around the office. It was some sort of message or an email or something saying, hey, we're almost to 1 million subscribers, jump on board. And there was something about it that was just like, okay, yeah, like I'll do it. And interestingly, I went to your website again in preparation for this show, and I noticed now that you lead with the fact that you're going on this mission for 1 billion people, and straight after the initial page, which is pretty much just stating that 1 billion, and that you have the goal of teaching 1 billion people how to live a life that's fulfilling. You then have the opportunity for people to become one of the numbers, and I did it. Like, I thought actually I kind of like I like my idea of being part of that place. So it's
Hmm.
interesting that you had that there, because I've got this concept in mind as well, to when I do the crowdfunding as part of the kind of perks and all that sort of thing, to have almost like a club or like a membership, and like, what number were you in the billion? Like, were you part of the first 1,000, the first 10,000? And then there'll be different kind of little rewards that potentially associate with that. And I thought to myself again, like you did, that it is a huge chunk of the world to reach. But now with the internet, it's, like, I think maybe half of that 8 billion have smartphones, to my understanding. So, you're potentially looking to try and hit a quarter of people if you're going to mostly be connecting to them via technology, which is, I would imagine, the main mechanism. So it's definitely an interesting pursuit. Out of interest, how many, like, so people like Ben and Matt, were they with you for a long time at Blind as well? Like, how many of your team now I guess, have come on board specifically as part of the future team, and how many of them have you potentially had with you for a long time?
I think it's about split down the middle, maybe a little bit more blind people than future people. And so I'm one of these people who I don't want to throw everybody out just because they weren't in on the original mission. So people who showed up, who've given me months, years of their life trying to help me build a service design company, when we made that switch, I gave each and every single person the opportunity to come along with us on this new journey. Some people were not comfortable with that, and that's totally okay. They want to move into something secure and something that they feel like they've invested a lot of time in school and energy developing, and they wanted to apply those skills. But everybody that wanted to come on board are on board. So Matthew is one of our longer lived employees in terms of with the company. There are other that are longer lived than him, but he came over as everybody else. So Ben and Matt were specifically brought in to be part of Blind. The future didn't exist with the exception of Ben, where I told Ben, the future can't afford to pay you, so I need you to do work for Blind until we can find a way for you to help with us and to be able to make it official. So we gradually just brought one person over, and then we just brought everybody over. Now, Ricky, Jonah, Elle, Alex, and Natalia and Stuart are purely the future people. So that's 6 people there. And they're brought in. Most of them have come in because they know about the future, believe in the mission, have seen our videos and have participated in some way, and they now have just crossed over that line from being observers or fans to becoming staff and family. And I think that's really neat. Pretty much moving forward, the only people we're going to hire to work with the future are people who understand us, who watch our content and believe in the mission. I don't want to hire just a straight up employee who wants to show up because it's hard work. It's strange work. It's difficult and challenging, mentally exhausting work that we do. And so I need them to feel that fire. I want them to be passionate about education and trying to challenge the status quo as you opened up in the very beginning. Because people did laugh at us too, because we thought it's time. It's time for schools to be dragged into the 21st century, to use modern tools and innovative ideas to teach in scale and make it affordable, to be inclusive, and to make sure it's equitable for everybody that's involved. We really believed in that. And we told schools this, we told organizations this, and some literally did laugh at us. But I didn't take much with that except for, I'll show you. I understand you can't see this, and very few people can see the future. It sounds like a crazy person. Like if you were to tell somebody just 30 years ago, we're going to have these little devices. It's going to be more powerful than a supercomputer that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And we're going to all be interconnected and be able to no longer have GPSs, recording devices, and play music. They would say, you're crazy. And that's why I think Steve Jobs' campaign, The Crazy Ones, it resonated with so many people because we're the weird outcasts, the misfits, the troublemakers who believe in making the world better. Like we dare to dream those dreams. And that's our community. That's our tribe. So people can't see your vision. I don't begrudge them for it. Like when you tell somebody, I'm going to be an NBA basketball player, they laugh at you because they can't see you until you're on the court with the jersey on at a jump ball, right? Then they can say, oh yeah, of course we knew he was going to always be that guy.
Yeah.
They just can't see it. So it's totally okay.
Exactly.
They're not laughing so much anymore.